Greetings and salutations, fellow gamers. Lukey P here with another episode of Supreme Ruler Ultimate Let's Play as Brazil. So a little bit has happened since the end of the last episode, partly because I was away from where I do my recordings and I was playing the game on a laptop, and I just don't have that set up for recording, so I played a little bit just to move things along. A few things to update you on. So we are at war with Venezuela up here. That has been going pretty well, to be honest. We've just kind of slowly, we started, I think, here. Yeah, I think we started there, and we've basically carved our way into their country. We're not that far from their capital. We haven't really I'm not sure we've taken any losses at all, actually. Our air force is doing a great job, so our Condors are really coming in handy, and in some ways this is perhaps something I didn't appreciate before, just how important they are, because they fly over and they resupply my troops when they are in dead zones. So for example here, I had some units built way down in the south of the country and I wanted to send them up there, and rather than going around this way, they decided to go up here and then try to cut their way single-handedly through Venezuela, which they're not that far away from doing, given how narrow the country is now. But they kind of got themselves stuck here, and we've got some of our supply planes about to fly over and resupply them, and they take that village and settle in there, and then build up some supply around that area. The war with Venezuela is going very well. We did at one point cross 150 billion. Money, I'm increasingly concluding, is a bit of an irrelevancy now, which I know sounds a bit strange given how much time I seem to spend trading. But if we look at it, at 150 million, we're way bigger than the next, up-teen countries. We crossed 90 million population. That's a nice little achievement there. Because there's a point now where really, what can we do with money? You can build more units, sure. You can build more production capacity, sure. But we don't really need to buy much at the moment. We will probably after this war take a stock of our economy, because as we've basically been taking things over, I tend to measure things by consumer goods. We did have loads and loads of spare capacity and we're selling it all. We're now only, we've still got quite a lot of spare capacity, but there are a few things, just looking around, I kind of start to think, well, maybe it's time to think about building a few more of the military goods plants, a few more of the industrial goods, and a few more of the consumer goods, just in case, because at some point I imagine the rest of the world will hate us so much that we will need to be entirely self-sufficient. And for example, in industrial goods, I just don't think we are. So if I turned all of those on, it would multiply that by 25, which is maths I can't do in my head right now because it's quite late at night, but it's probably around 5,000-ish. Yeah, maybe a bit more. Maybe. Even if we say that's 7,000-ish, that's still, we're using 38,000 a go. Most of that is on construction, but we're probably roughly balanced on what we need for consumer goods right now. We may also need military production at some point. We've only got 4 of those. We need 3,000. We're going to constantly be building from now on. So in theory, we need to be able to support that as well. So we may look at dumping several billion into construction, probably around our capital, just because that seems the safest area, and we won't get any rebels around there. What's happening over here in this part of the world? So slightly confusing colours because East Indies is the same colour as us, but this is us, Brazil, and we've got our engineers over here. We are building lots of land production, so we're going to have how many of those we get in each? Next 5. So we're going to have 15 production capacity over here to basically start producing the units we need to start conquering this part of the world. We've got 3 air bases going up there. We've got another 2 naval productions being finished there, which will bring us up to 4. Odds are I will probably make this all naval production as well, and I will probably build a few more air production facilities in the future. But I'm also conscious big military needs big population, and we've got a big population, but we could do with it being a bit bigger. So our economy, which is a balance, that's now halfway up the bar because we're starting to get good GDP per capita. Our inflation is now back up to 21%ish, and our unemployment is down to 2.2. So having gone up from extra population, we're now starting to see unemployment drop back down again, which is it's at probably too low a level now. The other thing I did want to comment on briefly at the start of this episode is we did have our first partisans who popped up somewhere around here. They were actually pretty tough. So I was marching all my units up to Venezuela up here, and a few partisans popped up. I turned kind of 5 or 6 units around thinking 1 partisan unit versus 5 or 6 units, not going to be much of a battle. They were pretty tough. It took a fair amount to bring them down. In the end, I brought down a chunk of the Air Force to bomb them. And I did a little bit of research online, just scouting around, found a few comments from the developers. One of the great things I love about this game is actually the developers do respond to people's questions. So if you go on various forums and if you just Google how to deal with partisans, soon enough on Google you will find a thread where a developer has commented and said, hey, this is what's going on with partisans. So there were 2 suggested things to help with them. One was actually your social spending on police does influence the likelihood of partisans spawning. So we've put that up. We'll probably put that up a little bit more again. So we put it up to the recommended amount. We'll probably go a bit higher. We just wanted to give it some time. For anyone who's noticed that our economy, we're not really losing 550 million per turn. We just built, I think, 5 of those land production goods over in Asia. 5 of those land production facilities over in Asia, and therefore we've taken a 553 million hit from construction in 1 turn, which in reality we're probably spending about 100 million a tick a day here, but we'll see. The other interesting thing is, of course, if you take off all our construction, we'd actually be making money just on our base economy now. That's a quite important threshold. You'll see our production is increasingly, so 360 million to produce goods versus 425 million coming in. That is probably mainly a function of more of our population consuming these. So we're getting to the point where our economy could actually be self-sufficient without exports, I think. Because if I was to turn that way down and match that to that, we've got a big enough economy that we could afford all the research we're doing and all the other stuff we're doing without needing to trade abroad, which is a good little barometer to get to. That said, we are selling 100 million per day, which is largely electric power, and that's a function of we've got loads of power plants, and we keep researching the technology which increases their output by 50% each time, which probably almost seems a little bit overpowered to me, but we'll play the game we're given. So the other thing on partisans, so law enforcement helps it. You can also improve your military ability, which was something else which was recommended online. And the way you do that is, so my alert condition's elevated because I'm at war, but there's also here, So you can see here military salaries and maintenance and training, and you can put these up, which I did do quite a lot. So I think I put that up by roughly 50%, because at the time I think it was like 5 million. I looked at it and I thought, well, another 5 million a day is it's a drop in the ocean. It's irrelevant for a country of our size. So yeah, we did improve that. We probably put it up a little bit more. Part of me wonders if maybe the reason our population is a little bit lower is because there's more people in the military. So you see we're now up to 546,000 with 45,000 in the reserves. That could be because we're building units en masse now. Our production facilities are basically cranking them out all the time, bar one, which I suspect is just on a day's break. And so that's going to be using population. And also, it could also be because we've put these up, there's more of an incentive for people to join the military because it's better paid. Don't know that for sure. If anybody does know, I'd be interested to hear in the comments. But yeah, that's an update on where we are. So having spent like 10 minutes of the episode doing that, let's play for a bit. But yeah, I thought partisans in particular, I've seen on other folks' playthroughs, they're a bit of an issue. I'm surprised, to be honest, I haven't had more so far, given I've taken over most of South America. But then I think I probably do have my my social spending relatively high compared with some other people I've seen play online. So a lot of people put their social spending way down here, and then make a lot more money than me. Through taxes versus social spending, you'll see I do something different, which is I spend a bit more on here and I make most of my money through trading. It's just a different way of playing the game. One may be better than the other, but really it probably depends on the circumstances. I think they had very big countries, so the difference between income and expenses was quite big if you whack social spending right down. Whereas my country started pretty small, which is why we went the trading route to get money. So yeah, let's get on with the war with Venezuela. Let me just tweak the sound a little bit because that was quite noisy. We've had something come in. So this is Germany again. You should note, you see the game is taking, I mean it's still ticking over relatively fast, but it's ticking over slower than it has in the past. That is one of the problems with this game in my opinion, which is the deeper you get into it, even on very fast now, it's ticking on much slower than it was in earlier episodes because there's so many more units in the world to process. On my laptop I was actually, anyone who watches the series will know I like to pause a lot to do trading and talking through things and various things. I was barely using pause because the game was already so slow on my laptop that it was ticking through very, very slowly. So there we are, we've cut that country in half. That unit is trying to get to the other side as well. That is actually your nearest barracks. That might be why it is. He's injured and he's trying to get to his nearest barracks, which is actually to finish cutting the country in half. And yeah, interesting. I want to take that town there because that will help us finish cutting their country in half. I want to sit them there, and then I want to sit a recon unit there as well, and this will finish cutting the country in half. Those are just garrisons. So we attacked this side of the country with slightly different forces. The bulk of our forces came here, and this side we sent Marines. Now normally I don't like the kind of infantry style units because they're really, really slow, but they've got really good stats, and actually these guys have done really well. They just kind of ground out, and these actually I think took the bulk of the Venezuelan counterattacks. The units got thrown here, and my Marines just kind of sat in and defended very well. and now we've got more units because some have come across, but also some of our production facilities here, for example, are grinding out units which we've used to help take land, basically. Oh, that's done it again, isn't it? I really do just want to get it so this country stays cut in half. So these guys are going to make a push on the capital kind of automatically pretty soon. So what I want to do really is bring up... Oh, I think they're already on the way. Yep, they're already on the way. That is our capital ship, which has kind of sat off the coast for the entire war, bombing and shelling units around here. So much so that it actually had to go back to get more supplies a little while ago. Does make me think that maybe I should build more of these to shell units in future from the coast. So we may do that. We do want to get some more of our units into here, I think. So we're going to come up against their last lines of defence, I think, now. I don't think they... Oh, they have got an air unit, which is a shame. Otherwise, I was just going to send the Air Force in en masse. We've got some Stuka bombers, which have been pretty kind of cool. In terms of they do a fair amount of damage. We may send those in to take out the armor, I think. Let's just see, did they take any damage from the anti-air? They did. So we're slowly grinding forward here. Finland, yeah, Finland has money problems. They keep missing payments to us. But that's the way it is. At this point we're not really trading for money, we're just trading for the sake of diplomatic relations, I think. So we're just hammering these guys now, which is a function of we've got lots of units and we've got mass artillery stacks here. I may just want to send these guys in to help protect that stack. Your artillery, you should go there as well. Then we'll send you in to guard that, and you in to also help. Okay, yep, we're already sorting those out. We're probably going to keep these because I sense around here it's probably worth us building like a supply hub around there, so we're going to tell these guys to rebuild. Same with you guys actually as well. There is a way you can just tell them to rebuild everything in the theatre, which is oh, it's here actually, battle zone controls enable structure auto repair. I don't do that because I like to see what I'm repairing and choose whether to scrap it or to keep it. So for example here, consumer goods medium, scrap. Their airbase we chose to rebuild. No repair needed. Did we take? We didn't take that area yet. I crossed that with a pontoon bridge, so let's see if we can take that, which we've just done. That was nice and easy. Probably sit that there and then just build a little road to cross that river. Do we need an airbase there? Why not? It's kind of on the coast-ish. We may at some point want to use that to attack this area. So. Don't see why you need to be retreating. You should go to the front line, and you guys are engineers helping build up stuff. Okay. So yeah, I think we may lose 1 or 2 units, but hopefully not. We're just slowly grinding them back with the shot. Nice. Short. Research breakthrough. Oh, we need to have a little look-see at that. What barracks is now online? Where is that barracks? Ah, that's there. Ah, that's because, yeah, those are the quicker ones to build. Okay. So we want to have a look at what do we want to research yet? So we have kind of split their country in half. They've got a supply truck. I'm not going to bother sending an air force out just to take out a supply truck that does no damage, can't even take land, which is how it's in our territory. What do we want to research next? So we've got basic land launched rockets, which will take a little while, but they enable this MLRS, which I really like, because if you look at these, I don't know which ones I can research. I think Brazil has an alright one actually. But you can see the range on these is way longer than existing ones. At the moment we're using artillery which is 41 kilometers. These are up to 230. I'm sure there's a way to get some for... Yeah, okay, we probably need loads of stuff, but anyway, we want to research that. So yeah, just have got anti-air stuff. Looks like our Condors have decided there's resupply needed. Let's send in some of our Stukers to finish off some enemies. So they've clearly run out of units there, because that one reconnaissance unit has just gone boom, 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 boom. And I think we're into our final attack on their capital in reality. These guys will just, anyone trying to escape by sea, these guys will sink. Our capital ship has run out of supplies again. Yeah, so they're down to 3 out of 300, so they've gone to go and get some more. Let's just queue these units up, just in case any of them aren't being used to bomb people. I think at this point it's just academic for Venezuela. Yeah, there goes their capital. Expect them to surrender soon. There we go. And we will annex them as well. We probably would have got a fair amount of money for that. We lost a unit. Oh, one of our patrol planes was killed. Okay, never mind. That was our one casualty of the war, 3 days before the end, and it's a patrol plane. Our treasury benefits, yeah, I thought we probably got a fair amount of money from capturing them. So yeah, that is the end of Venezuela as well. And we now have basically the entirety of Latin America. We do have Guyana, who are independent here. We may at some point bother to invade. They've got a little bit of money. We may invade them. They're only a colony. We may probably land some Marines and just take their capital straight off, to be honest. Georgetown, which is British Guyana. Yeah, we don't want to go to war with the Brits just yet. And Vichy Guyana, we don't want to go with Vichy France yet either. But they are inconsequential powers. We've basically taken the whole of Latin America. That was our attempt to sabotage something in Venezuela. I think it may have failed because we captured it before the mission finished. What do we have now? We have a bunch of cleaning up to do, which is I want to wait and see what the supply looks like, and then I'm going to, as I always do, decommission all the production facilities I don't want or don't need. So for example, that industrial complex we can scrap. That is in Colombia's territory. That's my fault. I decommissioned everything around it and forgot it was there. The supply there, that was Venezuela. So we'll wait and see what that's like. Yeah, we'll give this a few ticks, and then what we'll probably do, so Venezuela made an awful lot of oil. They're one of the largest productions in the world, and we may turn a bunch of them off once we've given it a few ticks to see what the supply is like. Now, what are we going to do with our units? So, I don't really know, to be honest, because we don't have any more. We may start. I kind of like this region as a buffer with America. It kind of means we're not immediately bordering them, and they'd have to come and attack us to get. Sorry, they'd have to attack these few countries, which would give us a bit of warning. Whereas if we're directly on the border, that may struggle a bit. So yeah, I don't actually want to attack Central America at the moment, because it may, if we're bordering the US, it may incur their wrath sooner, so to speak. And even though we're really rich, they are still, they're massively stripped. They've got a population which is over double ours. Their military is 4 million. Ours is 500,000. We would get wiped out, I think, if they went for us now. Our best hope would be to create kind of a supply dead zone and hope all their units get bogged down and die in that. So I may have a think between episodes about what I want to do with this big land force. They may just sit here and go into reserves while we play over in Asia. I may pick them up and move them to Asia. I would, if there were more independent countries, look to go to Africa, but there just aren't that many. So I don't think we're going to do that. And the ones which are, they would all bring us into a conflict with a big European power we probably don't want to be in conflict with just yet. So yeah, that's what we'll go on between episodes. Over here, we'll keep building these up. Odds are next time we come back, I may well be thinking about starting a naval invasion, possibly already, of the East Indies. But we will see. We will see. There may be a need. I may mass spam Marines, actually. So I've been building. I've been building in here. So if I look at the reserves in here, these units, which are airdroppable, because I'm just thinking I may drop these Brandenburger units from Germany and see if I can just paratroop them in. It'd be kind of cool to. I'm building some air carriers. It'd be cool just to paratroop them in next to a bunch of big towns, take all the big towns at once, and see if the game appreciates the shock value of a country losing all of its big towns at once and just surrender straight away. That would be kind of cool. So I think at about half an hour in for the episode, I think we're going to wrap it up there. That was the end of Venezuela. Like I say, we're tidying up the country off camera. Anyone who's watching this series knows what I like to do. I don't need all this excess production they've got. So where they've got, I don't know. There you go. Consumer medium. Don't need it. Scrap it. Military medium. May actually start keeping these now, because I'm potentially worried about our military production in the medium term. So that's the end of the episode. We now have I think this is episode 30, actually. I think this is episode 30, and it's a good point to have basically conquered pretty much all of South America, which is pretty nice. So stock take over 150 billion. Population up to 93 million. Nice. Economy pretty strong. Unemployment a bit low. Could do with it being nearer to 3%. Inflation a bit high. Probably resolve that by conquering East Indies. And yeah, things are going pretty well. So we will wrap that episode there. Any comments, as always, do comment below the video. If you've liked, please do like. If you've really liked, please do subscribe. I do appreciate it. Thank you, as always, for watching. I'm Lukey P, and I will see you again soon.